Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new, hello again. So this is my channel. I love to do DIYs on a budget, Dollar Tree DIYs, thrift flips, farmhouse and rustic REITs, and seasonal decor. So if you like what you see here, you know what to do. Hit that red subscribe button. Also leave me a comment. I love to hear what you guys think. And also give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and Facebook. I also have an Etsy shop, and those links will all be down below. I sell some really cute crafts there, so come check it out. But today is all about under $5, and our hosts are Farm Charm Chic, and our guest host is Happiness Created. Their links will be listed below as well in my description box, and also there will be a playlist. More about that in a minute, but first let's get into DIY number one. So the first DIY, I'm going to be using some plaster paint, some burnt umber, some goldenrod, some chalk paste, and also these stencils. I'm going to be using this little pot that I cut out of my laser machine that I have. It's a little wood laser cutter I have, and that flower is from the Dollar Tree. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the base of this flower pot with the color Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel. This is just going to be a base. I'm going to do a really fun technique that I learned. I'm going to take this spatula knife type spatula, I don't know, and I'm going to scrape some of the goldenrod yellow color paint onto the brown, okay, once it's dried. So it doesn't matter where you put it, you just put it anywhere, and you're going to see, you're not going to really see the yellow, you're only going to see peaks of it when we're done. So I did it all around, especially like the edges, the center, and I'm just like spreading it on with that palette knife, really nice and smooth. You don't want to leave it cakey or anything like that. And then I dried that, and now I'm going to take my wax tea light candle, and I'm going to rub that all over the top of this part now. And then once I rub the candle on there, I'm going to take some plaster paint by Waverly. This is a chalk paint, and I'm going to paint the whole thing with that. And then I'm going to let that completely dry, and then I'm going to take this little scraper, and I'm going to start scraping some of that paint off. And what you're going to see is you're going to see some of the brown and some of the yellow come out, and it's going to make this look really rustic, old, vintage looking, which is the look I am totally going for. And the candle wax is what helps you achieve that. So that's why I put the little bit of yellow on there, and you could do any colors of your choice, but this works every time, and I absolutely love doing this technique. Then once I scraped some of the paint off, I took my sander, and I just sanded to make everything a little bit smooth and make it all kind of blend together, well, like nicer than just seeing those scrape marks. So that's what I did there. And this came out really nice. And I did, do a little bit harder in some spots. Then I took a baby wipe, and I just kind of wiped it over because some of that white chalk paint gets into the brown paint. It just looks all blurred, and I didn't like that. So I just kind of wiped it with the baby wipe. And then I'm going to take a stencil and some black paste, and I'm just going to, this is a silk screen stencil that I got from Chocateur, and I'm just going to rub that on, and it's all about flowers, and I just thought it went really well. So it just says fresh flowers. And then I'm going to use some dark antiquing wax, and I'm going to rub that on the edges of my flower and also around the edges of the actual water can here. So I really like the way this water can looks. It's so rustic and old looking, and that's how water cans look, like on the farm. So that is the look I was going for. So I just I like using this dark antique wax. I get it on Amazon. My Amazon shop link will be down below, and I just love using it for stuff like this. So, and then I just kind of went with a real light brush, stencil, and went around the whole thing. I also did the center of the flower too. I just wanted everything to kind of go together. And then what I did is I took my paintbrush, a thin one, put a little paint on it, some of that yellow paint, and I splattered it onto the actual flower. And I love the way that looked too. So that's what I did there. And if you don't like this type of look, you could just skip this part altogether and just paint it whatever color you like or however you like. This is just a technique that I like doing sometimes, and I just think it's super fun. So I'm using super wood glue to glue the flower down, and also hot glue. And now I'm going to make one of my raggy bows, I call them. So I'm using a small bow dabra, and I just took strips of fabric and ripped them into strips, and now I'm just flipping them back and forth to make little hoops on each side to make it look like a bow. And I just keep using different fabrics, that I get from all over Hobby Lobby, Dollar Tree, and I just keep flipping them back and forth, and these colors all coordinate with my actual project, of course, so it matches and kind of goes together. And you just keep doing that, and then I just put a piece of jute twine down the center of it, and then you just pull the string up, and then you just tie it in a knot, and you have a cute little raggy bow. And I think this gives it a nice touch, and also like kind of really goes with it instead of like a perfect bow. I think these type of bows really go well with this vintage look and rustic look. So I just pulled up my jute twine, I tied in a knot in the front, and then I pull it right out, and then I flip it over and I tie another knot on the back, and then all I do is cut down my tails, how short or how long I want them to be with my project, and then I just glue the bow down wherever I want it on my project. Really simple. And then I put a little button in the middle. And there it is, you guys. You guys got to let me know what you think down below in the comments. So today is all about under $5. We're making 5 different crafts under $5. There will be a playlist along with the hosts and the co-hosts, guest hosts, links on my description box. So make sure you go check everyone out. So now DIY number 2. This DIY, I'm going to be using a stencil, a bee stencil that I had. Also, I'm going to be using that flower rub-on, some more fabric, and some dark wax again, and also some paints. I'm using black, maize color, and also plaster again, or white, I believe I used this time. And I'm going to use this board from the Dollar Tree. So you get these wood boards they have in the Dollar Tree all the time down the crafts aisle, and I just painted it with that color white. And now I'm going to scrape on my rub-on transfer. This transfer I got last year from Essential Stencil, and I love their rub-ons. They're really easy to use. So I use some of that pixie spray, and what it does is it helps glue down your stencil so it doesn't move. And then I'm going to just use a stencil brush, and I'm dabbing on some black chalk paint for my little bee that I wanted to put on here. And I taped off the section where the little honeycomb is because I didn't want to get any black paint on that. And there's my bee. And now I'm going to go in with the maize, and I'm going to use the honeycomb now and tape off the bee part. And I'm going to dab that on through the stencil as well. And the pixie spray really does wonders, guys. You could get that on Amazon as well, so check it out. And once I get that done, then I just lift it up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dirty this up again with that dark antiquing wax. It's just dark wax, but I call it antiquing wax because that's what it looks like to me. But I'm using a stencil brush, and I'm just doing the edges, and I'm just kind of like rubbing it on with my fingers too. You just kind of like smooth it on. Now, if you get too much on your project with this stuff, the good part is that you can use a baby wipe and it'll wipe most of it away. Or you could go over it with paint again, and that'll get rid of it altogether. So, I mean, it's not that hard to use, and I think it really makes the projects look really cool. So, especially if you like the old look. And then I, of course, dirtied it all up because that's what I like. But if you don't like that, you skip this step altogether, guys. It's just what you like. This is just what I like. So then I also went on with my little dauber, and I did a little more of the Distress Oxide on there with Vintage Photo, it's called. And then I did a tag. So now my tags, I like those to look old too. So I get these tags over at Hobby Lobby. Now you can use scissors to rough up the edges of your tags. I have this little tool that I use. I showed you both. and then I'm just crumbling it up. These tags are really durable from Hobby Lobby, and you get a lot of them in a pack. And then I dirty up the edges again with the dark wax, of course. And I just put Be Happy on there. That's what I stamped on. And I'm just using the dark wax, and I'm also using the Distress Oxide Vintage Photo to dirty up the tag. So now here's another rag bow that I made. And this one, of course, color coordinates with my project. And now I'm just cutting the tails. And I didn't show me making the bow again because you guys already saw it with the first one. And then I'm just gluing it down on my project. And then I'm going to put the tag in the center of the bow with a little bit of glue. And then I'm also going to put this little button in the center as well. I love using buttons on my projects. And now I'm going to use these little berry picks that I had. They had a little bit of a yellow color to them. I thought that would go really perfect. And I just glued them to each side of my bow. And there you go, guys. Really easy, fun project. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. So now DIY number 3. So this one, I had this wood in my garage that I'm going to be using. I'm also going to be using some of that Excelsior. I'm going to use a tag again, a little round that you see there, another bee, and another button, some plaster paint, and also I'm going to be using this mesh. So now this mesh I got from Craft Outlet. Now, if you don't have a piece of spare wood like that, you can also use another piece of wood like the one we used in the previous project that you could get from Dollar Tree. So I'm using some cardboard, and I'm going to trace out this mason jar little plaque that I had because it was the perfect size that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut that out of the cardboard, and I'm going to rip the cardboard because I want to see that that coordinating piece underneath. I like that. And we're going to paint it with some of the plaster paint by Waverly. And I'm just going to, I just use a sponge to paint, you guys. Love using them. I just cut them up from the Dollar Tree and I use them to paint everything. And I just think it looks so much better than using a brush because the brush strokes I don't like. I like it to be smooth. So that's why I like using sponges. So then I went around the edges of the cardboard with the dark wax again because I like everything to look old. And I'm just rubbing in it with my fingers, and I'm going a little darker in some spots. And I just use a stencil brush. This brush is actually from the Dollar Tree. And I just rub it in and make it look old. Then I go around the edges also of the wood that I'm using as well. And this is going to be a really cute vase with a really beautiful sunflower coming out of it. My favorite things are sunflowers and bees. I just love that for summertime and spring. I think it's so pretty. And actually sunflowers could go all the way into fall with some projects. So like depending on what you're putting on them and how you're making them. But I really like that. I wear a lot of sunflowers on my clothes actually. So I really like that. And I love bees too. So that is why I decided to do this. And this is all about summer. So I figured this was perfect. So, and I'm also going around, in other spots as well. Now I'm just going to put a whole bunch of hot glue on the back of that cardboard, and I'm going to glue it down to the wood piece. And now I'm going to take this mesh, and I am going to just start like looping it back and forth, like up and down, up and down. And this is actually, it's like almost like a cloth mesh. It's really cool. I like it because it doesn't fray a lot. So, and it's really a bright golden yellow, and that's what I wanted for this because I want it to be a sunflower that's in the vase. So that's what I'm doing. So what I did is I started folding it back and forth like you saw me there. I'm just kind of wrapping it really close together, and I'm just gluing it down. So like I get so far, and then I use a lot of hot glue and I glue it down, and then I cut it off where I didn't need it anymore. And now I'm just going to glue it down on the ends because I want the flower to stay put. I don't want it to open up because then it's just going to stick out and not look like a flower. So then I did a lot more hot glue in the center. I put a whole lot of hot glue, guys. And then I decided to come in with my staple gun when in doubt, use staples, and you won't see them in the center because I'm going to be putting this in the center. So that worked out well too. So I took just a whole bunch of Excelsior and I just like crumbled it up in my hands and like put it in the center and put some glue down, and now I'm just kind of like making sure it stays down. And then I painted the center, that center circle, with the brown paint, and I'm going to glue that down in the center because that's the center of our flower, of course. And I just had this piece around, I don't even know, it was just a shape I had in my stash actually. And then I'm going to take another bow that I put some, oh my God, what do you call it? Straw in it. And I put that in there with the bow just to give it a little more interest, to kind of tie it all together with that Excelsior. And then I used some boxwood from Walmart and I put that on each side of my bow. And now I'm going to make another tag that says bloom. And then I'm going to rough up the edges again and give it that dark wax. And that's my son right there. He came to show me something. And then I'm just going to dirty up the tag again because that's what I like to do. And I crumbled it up, you know, and everything. Just make it look old. And I'm going to glue that down to the center of my bow. And then I'm going to put a button in the center of that. And I get my buttons also on Amazon, and they're my Amazon shop. And then I took this little bee that I had and I stuck him down on the bottom. And that's it for that DIY, guys. And all of these are under $5, you guys. So you'd be surprised what you can make with $5. It's pretty amazing. Cool ideas you come up with. And you've really got to rack your brain to do it. So I'm going to be using some more paint, some sunflowers that I got from the Dollar Tree. I have this Sweet Annie, it's called, dried flower. They're like little buds. I mean, I printed this off on my printer, and it's on rice paper. And I also had this cutting board that I cut out of my laser cutter. And you could get these shapes, though, from the Dollar Tree, too. They have all kinds of cutting boards now, different shapes and sizes. So I'm using some water on a thin paintbrush, and I'm just going around the image that I did on my rice paper, and I'm just going to rip it now. And what the water does is it helps you to be able to rip it so that you can just, you know, make it look like it is actually on the board, and it doesn't look like, you know, it's just a square piece of paper on there. So once it was all painted with the plaster paint, then I went in with the Mod Podge and put that down. And now I'm just smoothing it out on top of the Mod Podge. And then, of course, I'm going to put some Mod Podge on top as well. That's just to make sure it's going to stay on there and it's not going to come off. I love this image. I actually got the image off of Pinterest. So you can look up for these on Pinterest, guys, and print them right off of your printer. So easy. And the rice paper you can get really cheap on Amazon. And then I'm going around the edges with the dark wax again because you know I'm going to dirty it up, right, guys? And I'm going around the edges. Like I said, though, if you don't like that look, just skip it all together. Don't worry about it. It's okay. And then I took one of these makeup brushes that I have, and I just went around like in a circle motion and like kind of blended in so that the edges of the paper look like it blended into the actual cutting board. And then I'm just going to glue another bow on there. And I'm going to put one of these little cute sunflowers in the center. I got these from Dollar Tree years ago, and I still have them, guys. And that's it for this DIY. This one was super simple and so inexpensive, guys. I think that one only cost me a couple dollars. And now DIY number 5. So this one I'm going to take some burnt umber, that goldenrod yellow color paint. These you could get from the Dollar Tree. I think I got them last year. A little circle round. And then these dried flowers I've had for a while, and I got them at the Dollar Tree as well. And then this piece of wood is actually a shelf hanger that you get at the Dollar Tree. So yeah. And I've had that for quite a while too. So I'm not even counting it really because I've had it for so long. So what I did is I painted those all yellow. And now I'm going to do the centerpiece because we're going to make another sunflower. And I'm just using my marker to mark little dots in the center of it for the flower, for the center of it. And then these dry pieces of flowers that I got from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to use one as the stem, and then I'm going to use one of those dry leaves for the leaf on the stem. And now I'm just going to take the wooden pieces and I'm going to make a really cute sunflower. So I just kind of like space them out where I want them. And of course I painted the board, I forgot to say that, with burnt umber paint by Apple Barrel. And so I'm going to glue down the center first, and then I'm going to use wood glue and hot glue, and I'm going to glue down each one of these once I know where they are supposed to go. And if you don't have these, you can also purchase, they're called biscuits, and they're little wood slices like this that you could get on Amazon and get a whole bunch in a bag. I think like 50, really cheap. So those are in my Amazon shop as well, if you can't find these at the Dollar Tree. But they usually do have them at the Dollar Tree. Eventually they get them in their wood pile section. And then I'm taking some Spanish moss and I'm going to go around the center of my flower. And then I'm just going to trim, so it doesn't look all crazy. So it looks a little more uniformed. And there it is. This one was so simple, you guys. So go check everyone out. Let me know what you think. And go check out my Amazon shop too. I have craft kits in there if you guys are interested. And go check everyone out. And I want to thank you guys for watching. And as always, remember, stay crafty. Bye.